And today we're talking about truck driving and truck driving content. Chrissy, you brought this to my desk, talking about the truck driving content that you've seen as of late. Talk about it, sis.
So, just perusing through YouTube, ran across this girl. Her username is Roadrunna Nia, and she is a very tiny and petite Latina girl, Hispanic, and is taking these trucks. I'm talking about these big rigs and driving them across the country. Has her dog in the truck with her and stuff like that.
What
But
kind of dog is it?
it's like a small husky. I don't know exactly I don't know exactly what kind of breed, but it
Sis,
looks like a small husky.
hold on. Let me stop right there. We're gonna get a. Gonna be what is this called? A hot take. I can't stand when I see people with their dogs in the trucks. Same way I
She
kind of
drives everywhere.
let me just say this real quick. People are gonna get mad because a lot of truckers do this and they believe in this, but it's like when you take a woman or your wife on the road. Guys, why would you want to subject your dogs or your spouse to the life of being a trucker? I mean, the way I see it, sis, I could never do that. I'm in the oil field. Maybe it's different when you're over the road because you might get lonely. But sis, a
Mhm.
dog sitting in a cab, you gotta understand these cabs, sis, they're like you seen how little they are, sis. They're like it's like a basically a mid-sized SUV, if not smaller. It's not that big of a space. So to me, I feel bad for the animal or the person that has to put up with being hours on the road. Again, I'm an oil field trucker. It's more rough and tough out here. Maybe when you're over the road, it's kind of more relaxed, somewhat, right? But the point is, I don't think it's a good thing to put an animal or to have an animal with you over the road. I know people are gonna get mad about that, but sis, I don't know if you thought about that before I brought this up. But your thoughts before we continue. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't look at it from that perspective because
Okay.
this girl that I started watching
She
her
lets the dog
her
walk, right? Lets the dog out.
Yeah, oh yeah. But my thing about the dog is she has said in some of her videos that she's gone for like 3 and 4 weeks at a time before. Well, she actually gave her apartment up. She is doing a walkaway lease with a 2024 Peterbilt, beautiful truck. I couldn't believe how much room was on the inside of it actually with the bed area, and she's
Yeah.
got like a, a massive refrigerator in there and a small cooking area and all kinds of stuff. But my thing was that how healthy is that for the dog was my thing. Not really. I could understand the companionship and stuff like that, but she always talks about she's trying to get her clock done and stuff like that, and then has to take the dog out for a small walk and stuff. But is the dog getting enough exercise? Is it healthy for the dog to be cooped up, for that many hours at a time? And that's my take on it.
Yeah, it's something else. Like I said, when I see the animals, I feel bad for them. Again, it's not my
I've
situation.
seen
But go ahead.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like partnerships of like, and I wanted to ask you about this about like husband and wife teams. So, how does explain? I don't understand this, and this is what she talks about a lot. So, after I watched her, like all these female truck drivers started like popping up on my to watch thing,
Yeah.
and the majority of them, I would say 80% have either been Hispanic or black. And when I talk about tiny, petite little girls driving these big old trucks, backing them up like it's nothing. Um, and then I ran across a couple that were like husband wife teams. How does that work as far as the clock goes if they both have their CDL?
Well, one has to be awake and one has to be asleep or resting. So that's how it
Right.
works. You get a certain amount of time, different states, different companies, requirements, whatever. I run the Texas oil field. We're not exempt. I think we have a 14-day work week and we have to do a 10-hour reset. Basically, once we clock out, we have to have 10 hours on rest before we get back on duty. So someone like them, same thing, right? The easy way to look at it, they both have a certain allotted time to work, right? And they have to get their driving within that time. So what they do with that time is on them, but usually you would think they would be asleep right while one's driving. So one's basically a night driver, one's basically a day driver. From what I know, like I said, I'm an oil field
That's
trucker.
what I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really. I'm not over the rotor, but I'm an oil field trucker. I know a lot about trucking. Been doing it for over 15 years. But like I said, one's supposed to be day shift, one's night shift. To be honest, I don't know how they even sleep like that. I don't know how I could even do it. But then again, these trucks do have amenities. They have air conditioner. They might have the best pillows and blankets and mattresses. I don't know, and maybe they're used to it. A lot of people do teams. Teams is a very you know It's a moneymaker because
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah,
think
you
about
should
it.
see the money. Yeah.
Well, think about it. The truck's running 24 hours a day, basically 24/7,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Besides the time it takes to diesel and stop. Basically, the truck's constantly moving and making money. So having teams is a very lucrative situation if you can find the right partner. So now, husband and wife, that's another situation. But my bad, sis, for cutting you off earlier. You're talking about this one woman, so you're just seeing a bunch of content creators, right? They make
Yeah.
trucking videos.
Yeah. And so through just watching those, I've learned a lot of things like what deadheading is
Yeah, I
and
hate that. I hate deadhead.
yeah. Yep. And
And Christy, hold
so
on. For everybody watching,
Mhm.
what is deadheading?
So it's whenever you are driving to a location or to a location to pick up your cargo or your whatever is it what's it called
Yeah,
your
your cargo.
trailer.
Yeah, yeah.
Trailer, and you're driving either with an empty trailer or just like as a what's it called, a bobcat,
Yeah, no, you're
um
bobtailing.
bobtail, and they're just going to they're driving and not getting paid. So through watching them, I've watched like how much planning has to go into their trips and all of that through um like picking up one thing and then getting straight on to the next closest pickup and stuff like that, and estimating fuel and looking at the different fuel like routes that are the cheapest and
Yep.
things like that. But these girls are out here killing it, like talking about, some of them have really started talking about money and how much they make, and some of them are making as much as like $6 a mile by the way that they're doing it, and that's daggone good money.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do on the channel, y'all. We're gonna be I got my trucking channel back. Shout out everybody watching here. I'm gonna drop this video on my main channel, Nino America, and my trucking channel, Desert Power Trucking. But I'm gonna start opening up basically a line of communication for people to get a hold of me. They want to work in the oil field. Now this is gonna be, this ain't gonna be some free game here. So of course we're gonna have our different tiers for that, or basic whatever. I don't want to say, I don't even know if I can even promote this stuff on this YouTube video, but basically if you want to get down the oil field, you can get a hold of me. I know people have been writing me. I get emails every now and then from my videos that did numbers on the YouTube. It's crazy that my trucking channel does crazy numbers, and I have not even 1,000 subs. But the point is, I will be offering my insight on people to be able to get in the oil field to make a lot of good money. To be honest, sis, I'm gonna say this about trucking: it's hard when you first start. Most companies go out of business in the first, I forgot how many years. It's not very long, but the point is, the good thing about the trucking situation is once you get going, sis, all the diesel, even the routes to a certain degree, they become like second nature. You know what I mean, sis? Like
Yep.
you get the experience, you get running, you get rolling, you learn how to deal with breakdowns, with problems, tires, whatever. And like every time I would get breakdowns, still to this day, it still affects me. I get kind of nervous, but the point is, you start learning to deal with these problems and you start getting better at it, and it becomes less of a big deal to you, and over time it all runs smoother, and then the money just starts
Yeah.
coming in. And I'm gonna tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, it's real good money being a trucker, especially if you didn't have a college degree. They say where I'm at in West Texas that basically a CDL is the equivalent of a master's degree. I mean, when I was a company driver, since 120,000 per year was not unheard of. That was normal for an elite oil hauler or someone that worked a lot of hours in the truck, however you could legally, of course. But the point is, now, we need more than that to survive. But the point is, you can make over 120, maybe even 150. And then if you're owner operator, I mean, my truck, my old crude oil truck, I'll say right now, one time I think I made 30,000 take home, or I would say gross, before diesel and all that, gross about 30,000 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I would make at one time 10 to 12, 13,000 in 6 days, 7 days.
I
Uh,
remember when you were doing that.
yeah, the money was real good. Now its rates have gone down across the board, but it's still good money. And I even told my wife this today. I'm like, you know what? I want to pivot from trucking to making content full time. It's tough, but the point is, you know, I told my wife this. I said, I dreamed about being a truck driver. That's what I wanted to do. I've done it for 15 years. I'm talking about my son, like he's already burned out working hard. He already got in the work field, 2, 3, 4 years ago now, but it's tough, and he's already, he's trying to do other things to, make an easier dollar. It's pretty hard nowadays. He wants to be a realtor, to be honest, but all I saw is, yeah, he's already burned out working like this. I said, man, baby, I've been working 15 years and I'm barely getting burnt out. I come from a different breed of oil fielders, and it's tough. I do want to get out the truck sooner or later, but like I told my wife, I got to be grateful. I got to be grateful and appreciative that I can make, 12, 1,500, sometimes, 1,800 a day in a truck.
Right.
That's
Right.
with me being an owner operator. But like I said, I dreamed about being a trucker. My goal was to get, well, it never was my goal, but the business that I started was having my own truck, and I make the most money in my truck. As much as I complain and I'm upset that I have to basically not live in a truck, but go work 14 hours a day in the oil field, as much as I can't stand it because I'm focused on the content, I told my wife I need to be grateful because this right here is, there's no other, you know what I'm saying? She tells me all the time, I make damn good money. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot make this kind of money doing anything else, I think. I mean, of course there's other ways, but from my perspective, I mean, 12, 1,500 a shift, even $900, and being home by, 1 o'clock lunchtime. I can easily make $1,000 going at 3 in the morning, be home by 1 o'clock, $1,000 made, bust a little bit more loads, $1,400 in 14 hours. So the point is, trucking, especially for those that never went to college like me, is very lucrative, and I am grateful to be a trucker. Go ahead, sis.
No, I think that you're making better money than some of these over the road drivers.
Oh, I am, sis. I'm gonna say real quick. Is because I'm in the oil field. They
Yeah,
are they
yeah,
are over the road. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes over the road and oil fielders like me, I'm not gonna say we don't like each other, but we kind of don't like each other. I don't know.
it's rivalry.
It's
Yeah,
somewhat of a
yeah,
rivalry. Yeah, you got it right.
yeah.
And when I got in an accident, sis, the person that wrecked in West Texas was on over the roader from California. So uh, take it for what you want.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Now,
so but that's a
but
point though. I'm in the oil field. They're over the road. I believe that my job is harder. I know they're bargaining me in the comments, but I think they even know it too. All due respect to my OTR drivers, oil field is very tough, strenuous, hella dangerous. Um, it's just a lot of it's local work, and I think they even know that to a certain degree. Says when you do a lot of local work and local runs, you're running that clock 14 hours. You're in and out that truck. You know what I'm saying? You're making deliveries. You're stopping and going. 14
mhm,
hours for a local driver, regardless of what you haul, it's kind of more tougher because, to be honest, when you're over the road, I'm not going to put them down saying that they don't do nothing. They do something, obviously, driving a truck and being focused while they drive, right? But the point is,
mhm.
when you're in the oil field, it's already another level of difficulty, local, higher level of difficulty, hazmat, another level. So, again, like I said, I think local oil field work in West Texas is real dangerous and it's more difficult than a lot of other work in the United States. Of course, shout out everybody in North Dakota, shout out everybody working in Alaska, all the ice road truckers, anybody working in places that are like that. That's even harder than where I'm at. My bad. Go ahead.
The only thing I have found consistent among all of the female channels is every one of them says, and I have family that lives there, and you live in Texas, so you'll be able to attest to this also. Is they hate driving through Houston. They said it does not matter what time they go through, there is something going on, and backed up for hours.
Oh yeah, that's that's like me, driving through, certain parts in West Texas, even on I-20, but nah, Houston, that's a whole nother beast in itself. Houston,
Yeah,
any big metroplex, any big city with the big, intersecting highway,
Atlanta.
interstate,
Yeah,
yeah, Atlanta, and then sis, let's talk about this, driving and sleeping in the truck. There's parts of the city and parts of the country that some drivers will not go to. Let us know in the comments.
absolutely.
Let us know in the comments, y'all, where you will not go to. But some places, one of my drivers I had to drive one of my trucks was telling me that he was sleeping at somewhere. I don't know if it was Memphis or New Orleans, but he said that it was real dangerous. And then when they told him to go and load, he had to sleep there overnight, and he was very pissed off because it was a very dangerous area. Very grimy, situation, and it's rough. There's a lot. I remember there was a video out, or the video out that they made, but someone had gotten robbed. A trucker did. So it is a dangerous job. It's unhealthy. I got like a little gut over here to myself because basically I'm a trucker and all I do is sit in the truck. Of course I get in and out and I'll pick up my loads of oil, but I mean if you eat wrong, little to no exercise, no circulation on your legs. You know what I'm saying? Heart issues. There's a lot of issues
Hmm.
that can happen for being a trucker. So salute all my fellow truckers out there. Nothing but respect for y'all. And it's a tough job. And to the women and wives that tell their husbands, that they think they're not doing nothing because they're just driving a truck all day. You try it. Basically, driving a truck is pretty hard, just because it's not just physically demanding, but it's mentally draining because you're sitting there all day driving an 18-wheeler, making sure you don't wreck. That takes a lot of strain on your brain. It's not like you're just sitting there not doing nothing. You are thinking, or you should be for the most part. Hopefully, you're not daydreaming, going 80. But
Exactly.
the point is, you are using your brain all day, and it is mentally draining to say the least. Go ahead, sis.
Well, and I'm sure that not only just mentally draining, but physically also, like, you are in
Everything.
constant motion to know exactly what's around you, what, the traffic beside you, in front of you, behind you is doing, and then, making sure that, they talk about that dispatch calls them for all these new loads and things like that. So yeah, I'm sure that it's physically and mentally just like you said, exhausting.
And we'll wind it down here, talk about dispatching the money. The money could be good, but at the same time, y'all, you could be nickel and dime to death by mechanics. I can't stand mechanics. That's a whole nother video in itself.
Hmm.
Dispatch is hella annoying. I'm gonna say it right now. The last company I was at, leased onto, we did our own dispatching. We had our own loads. We had our own well we took care of. It was amazing. Now I'm somewhere. I'm gonna be kind of, not say too much, but dispatch gets on my nerves. They give you a certain kind of a dispatch that doesn't make sense sometimes. They put these kind of rules that you can't change your dispatch. There's just a lot of problems with dispatch. And if you work somewhere that the dispatch works with you or is pretty cool with you, you're blessed. But usually every time, sis, I do not do well with dispatch. For the most part, I do. I'm not trying to say I'm combative, but that is a problem dealing with dispatch mechanics in West Texas. It's probably one of the worst places to get ripped off. Mechanics charge anywhere from 120 to $150 an hour, and that's sometimes that's a shop fee. You could take your truck to a nice shop, whatever, a ghetto shop for 150 an hour. Some mobile mechanics will charge you $150 an hour to 120 just to come to you. So a
Wow.
big issue. And then the tires is another big cost besides mechanic work. Mechanics can always rip you off, mess up your truck, whatever. It's hard to find a good mechanic. Thankfully, my cousin does most of my light work and medium work on my big truck and trailer. If I need specialty work, I'll try to go to the most professional shop I know, even though they cost more money, to make sure I want myself done correctly, efficiently,
And
in a timely
safely, yeah.
manner. Yeah, and safely. So that's another issue is mechanic work being done in your truck. I always say all the time, I'm not going to get rich in a truck because the trucks won't let you get rich. I mean, there's too much that goes into it. Diesel bill, my diesel's $1,200 to $1,500 a week, and all my stuff is the card I have. In order to get the discount I get, I have to pay it every week. So some guys get to pay
Right.
theirs every 30 days, whatever. Right? Mine's set up to where I'm paying my diesel almost, right when I pull it out of the tank. It's within 7 days. I got to pay my diesel bill, and like I said, $1,200 to $1,500 a week in diesel.
Well,
Tires are anywhere from 350, 250 for cheap ones to 550. I think I seen a steer tire, Michelin, I believe. I forgot what brand it was. Goodyear, $1,000. Somebody posted on online. So the
that's a
tires went up too. Go ahead.
well, see, now for the tires, okay, so I expected those to be a lot more. On my car, I have run flats and ended up having a problem with one of my tires that I had to get a new run flat. One tire for that car was $450.
Well, maybe it's because it's a run flat. I don't know why, sis, but man,
Yeah.
that's an 18 wheeler tire. That's a trailer tire for
Yeah,
me.
that's what I was
But
saying. I thought they would be a
sis,
lot more expensive, but
I heard a while back, then and they said that the prices of we didn't do business with China or something like that. Something happened with an embargo. I'm not too sure about it, but basically the
right.
prices of tires all went through out the roof, right?
Well, I'm
So
sure.
I just know with me, I got 18 tires and they cost anywhere from 350 to 450 plus a tire.
Wow.
Right now, I'm getting my tires for $270 a tire. That's before taxes. My tire guy is great. Like I said, I will be giving this info once we drop the link to get a hold of me in West Texas. But the point is, tires are a big cost. Mechanic work is a big cost. And then these companies that pay low rates, we haven't even gotten to that. So it's probably do a part two of this video. But the rates they go down. There's too much deadheading. The cheap freight. There's too many truckers in America. There's too many trucks during the Rona season. A lot of people got paid real fat, and people came in heavy with the trucks because they're needed. Then it started going down. So the point is,
Hmm.
there's a lot more drivers and a lot more trucks, and these brokers, which I think are a bigger ripoff. But we'll talk about that on another video.
We
They
need to do another video because you're saying all of this, and I have so much information that
we
I
will.
want to discuss with you. Yeah.
So again, like I said, it's just being a trucker. Back to the beginning of the video, the women, sis, wind it down with that because we probably didn't even touch on that much. I started going off in a tangent, but it's okay. We're gonna make another video. Go ahead, sis.
Oh, no, that's okay. No, just that, I was just really shocked to see how many women are out doing this. I travel I-75 a lot, and whenever, you look up at the truck driver, it's usually a man that you see, but I'm talking about like so many women out there doing this, and just learned a lot from them. But, at the same time, we do need to do another video because it's like you said, had this one girl that really talked about how awful her broker was, had another one that dispatch left her sitting for 17 hours in a location that got the delivery and the order all wrong. And she ended up leaving like three different companies so far because of it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
we'll touch on the downfalls here in a minute, but again, this was just a video we did real quick, touching on women trucking. I'll just say this: I always told my mother, right, to get her CDL because I see women truckers all the time in West Texas. Now, personal opinion, you know how I feel. I'm conservative. My wife hasn't
right.
worked. My wife hasn't worked in, thank God, 15 years. But women can drive a truck too. I've seen them do it out here. I've seen them in the oil field. You know, I've had women drivers under me. I was a supervisor at a water hauling company. I mean, they could drive. I hate to say it like this though. uh, they say like as long as you have in West Texas, as long as you have what do you call it, a pulse to throw you in the
Hmm.
truck, basically, right? They just need a driver, but I'm not trying to say that to downgrade anybody. But the point is, I mean, there's so much of a need of moving product in America that basically it pays good, and women do it. Anybody can basically do it, especially if you don't even have no training. But again, we'll talk about that in another video. To get your CDL, the way I got mine, I worked for free, and then I got to train and jump into a truck and took the test. Nowadays, you have to take basically a course. You have to go to school and have some kind of schooling to get your CDL, which I don't mind that at all. But with that, y'all, thanks for watching the video, and we're out of here.